Ready for liftoff. Today, we're diving into one of your picks, space colonization. We've got your source from Alternative World, and let me tell you, it is not just about rocket ships and Martian settlements. This piece goes deep, asking if colonizing space is humanity's ultimate dream, or, well, a potential nightmare. And I know you've been digging into a lot of sci-fi lately, especially mentioned a recent sci-fi film, book, or news item about space exploration the listener is interested in. Well, consider this your reality check, separating the science fiction from, the science facts. One of the most fascinating points this piece brings up right away is this question: are we really looking to colonize space, or are we just trying to escape Earth? And if we're not careful, are we doomed to repeat the same mistakes we're making here on our own planet?
It's a question that resonates throughout history, really. I mean, before rockets and satellites, we had ships, right? Setting sail across uncharted oceans. Those early explorers were driven by a thirst for the unknown, but they often ended up, well, mirroring the best and worst of humanity. It's like this drive to explore. And then the potential for exploitation, they seem to go kind of hand in
That's
hand.
a great point. This source actually draws a direct parallel there. It talks about how throughout history, those big exploration efforts were often intertwined with, well, let's just say not so great motives. But it also digs into the reasons WHY's space colonization is so appealing in the first place, this idea of adventure, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. It's like human nature pushing us to see what's beyond the next horizon.
And in this case, that next horizon is literally off this planet. It's fascinating to think that what was once pure fantasy, escaping Earth's problems by starting fresh somewhere else, is now a serious topic of discussion.
Exactly. This alternative world piece doesn't shy away from the very real issues we're facing here on Earth. Climate change, dwindling resources, the whole 9 yards. And it poses this question: is becoming a multiplanetary species, as someone like Elon Musk proposes, a backup plan for humanity, or just kicking the can down the road?
And if it has a potential backup plan, we can't just gloss over the immense challenges. Let's take Mars, for example. It's bombarded by radiation levels that would make Chernobyl look like a picnic. The lack of a substantial magnetic field leaves you exposed. And forget about breathing without a clunky suit. Even growing a simple tomato would require, recreating an entire ecosystem from scratch.
It's like the source is saying, sure, Mars might be there, but it doesn't want us.
Yeah.
And that's before we even get to the psychological side of things. This article made me think about those classic sci-fi movies where the crew goes a little crazy, trapped in a tin can for months on end. Turns out there's a reason that trope exists. The isolation, the confinement. It's a huge part of the challenge of space travel and colonization that we often overlook.
And it's not just science fiction, right? The potential psychological strains of, space travel and long-term habitation, those are a significant hurdle we have to consider.
Yeah, definitely.
Just imagine living in cramped quarters under artificial light with the same small group of people year after year after year. The impact on, mental well-being, it could be immense.
It really makes you appreciate those little things about Earth, a walk in the park, a breath of fresh air, things like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But even beyond the, technical and psychological hurdles, this alternative world piece raises an even bigger question. Even if we can colonize space, should we? And if so, how do we even begin to do it without just, repeating the mistakes of our past?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? The source doesn't let us off easy, with those grand ideas of cosmic expansion and whatnot. It challenges us to really examine our motives. Why are we really doing this? Are we going to space with, a sense of responsibility, a commitment to sustainability? Or are we just looking for another planet to, well, exploit?
And it's not just about the potential for repeating history on a planetary scale either.
Yeah.
The article also brought up this unsettling possibility that space colonization could actually make things worse.
Yeah.
It could exacerbate the very inequalities we're already facing here on Earth.
Absolutely. Think about it. Right now, the most ambitious space exploration projects, those are primarily funded by, well, governments and corporations, right, with very, very deep pockets. This begs the question, will space become an exclusive playground for the ultra-wealthy?
So like a luxury escape hatch.
Yeah, for a select few, while everyone else is left behind to deal with, a planet in distress.
It's a pretty sobering thought. Instead of a beacon of progress, space colonization could become another dividing line in society.
Ugh.
It makes you wonder if we're even capable of creating a truly equitable and sustainable future anywhere, let alone on another planet. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
But I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, is it? The source also talks about space colonization as a potential social experiment, a chance to sort of hit the reset button and build something better than what we have here on Earth.
It's true. The article does present, this optimistic view. What if space becomes the ultimate proving ground for, let's say, humanity's better angels? Imagine a Martian colony where resources are managed collectively, where sustainable living is just, woven into the fabric of society, and where diversity is celebrated, not just, tolerated.
Okay, now that is the kind of space future I can get behind. Building a society on Mars that's equitable, sustainable, and truly innovative. That's got to be more than just a pipe dream.
Right. Well, the source doesn't sugarcoat it. While space offers a potential clean slate, it doesn't erase human nature. We have to be honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
Can we really create a utopia on Mars if we haven't even figured out how to solve these same challenges here at home?
It's like the ultimate test. If we can't get it right here on the planet that literally nurtured us into existence, what makes us think we can get it right somewhere else? It's a humbling thought. It's almost like this whole space colonization thing is less about learning to live on a new planet and more about, learning to live with ourselves.
Exactly. The alternative world piece uses a fantastic phrase to capture that. It says we need to colonize our better instincts before we even think about colonizing Mars or, anywhere else.
Okay, I love that phrase. But what does that actually look like in practice? How do we even begin to colonize our better instincts?
Well, I think for starters, it means, taking a long, hard look in the mirror, so to speak. We need to take a hard look at the systems and structures we've created here on Earth, the ones that have led to, well, things like inequality, environmental degradation, and conflict.
So you're saying before we pack our bags for Mars, we need to unpack some of the baggage we're carrying with us.
Precisely. This isn't just about, rocket fuel and life support systems. It's about, building a new foundation for human civilization. One based on, well, cooperation, sustainability, and a deep respect for our planet, for each other, for all of it.
It's like this alternative world piece is saying that space exploration isn't just about what we can take from other planets, but about what we can learn about ourselves in the process.
Yeah, and maybe, just maybe, the challenges of space exploration, right? This need for innovation and collaboration on an unprecedented scale, maybe that can actually help us unlock those better instincts.
It's a powerful idea, for sure, that reaching for the stars could actually help us heal our own planet.
It's a journey of, outward exploration and inward reflection happening simultaneously.
Wow. This alternative world piece has really given us a lot to think about. It's clear that it's not just about escaping to a new planet. It's about evolving as a species.
And realizing that the future, both here on Earth and beyond, it isn't predetermined. It's shaped by the choices we make, right here, right now.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I have one last question for you. Out of everything we've talked about today, what's one big takeaway that really stuck with you?
For me, I think it's the idea that space colonization isn't an escape route from our problems, but a magnifying glass held up to them. It forces us to really confront who we are as a species and who we want to become.
Perfectly said. And for me, I think it's a reminder that exploration, whether it's across the ocean or across the galaxy, has always been about more than just reaching a destination. It's about the journey, the discoveries we make along the way, and the ways those discoveries change us. Well, on that note, I want to say a huge thank you to you and an even bigger thank you to you, our listener, for joining us on this incredible journey into the heart of space colonization. If you found this deep dive as thought-provoking as we did, be sure to check out Alternative World. They really do have a knack for tackling these big, complex issues in a way that's both insightful and, surprisingly engaging. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep looking up at the stars.